So today we'll talk about the decline of Latin America. Today, so yeah, Latin America is a part of the world where you'd think that would have very high birth rates. You would think that Latin America would have very high birth rates. For example, 2 decades ago, Hispanic Americans had the highest birth rate in America, but have drastically fallen. This actually mirrors Mexico's birth rate decline and birth rate declines in Latin America. And if you look at the number of live births in America, here of this year, the white cell has gone up because the Hispanic American birth rate has declined. Hispanics only make up around 23% of live births in America, 52.1% white, 15.2% black, and 6.8% Asian Pacific Islander, and 2.8% American Indian and Alaskan Native. We're also seeing the largest fertility decline of any group of American by Hispanic anyways. Yep, Hispanics have seen the largest decline in birth rate, because most people tend to ignore this stuff as well. National fertility rate is reaching a historic low as well. And yeah, the Hispanic population is, and the Hispanic world and the Latin American world is expected to see a drop. For example, Latin America's population is expected to meet maximum population by 2058. Countries like Mexico, countries like El Salvador are expected to have, and Brazil and Colombia, are expected to have population declines before that. Latin America is about to experience a population collapse in the 2050s. And they're going to be seeing a mirror effect happen with Hispanic Americans as well. So Latin America's birth rate decline is very, very, very unknown why Latin American and Hispanic Americans' birth rates are declining, because it mostly mirrors it. Of course, we all know the highest groups of people with the birth rates in America are religious people, our Mennonites, of course, the Amish and the Mormons. Those are the groups with the highest birth rates in America. And now we're starting to see this trend actually start to go in action. The Hispanic birth rate is declining. The population collapse in Latin America is going to start, kind of like how Europe is already experiencing. But now the Hispanic world is starting to see a collapse, and the Spanish-speaking Latin American world is about to see a collapse in population. For example, Mexico's birth rate. This is in 2019. It has fallen down to here, and Mexico's birth rate in the 2000s was around 2.5, then went to 2.2, 2.1, and now it is below replacement rate. Mexico's birth rate has fallen below replacement rate. Yes, Mexico's birth rate has fallen below replacement rate. Here. Mexico's birth rate fallen below replacement rate in 2020, and that's when COVID struck. And now Mexico's birth rate is now down to 2.05. And of course, Hispanic America's is down even further than Mexico's birth rate, which means Hispanic Americans have a lower birth rate here. And you see, this is the percentage here of live births. It's actually very, very similar to the live births percentage of 2015. As you see a birth rate decline of Hispanic Americans. Also, by 2100, using the same graphs, Mexico is expected to have a lower birth rate than America, as America's birth rate is expected to go up to 1.8, according to these projections. So that means your average American will be having more kids than your average Mexican as well. So that means if these demographic trends continue, that means we might be seeing a reversal of the demographic trends we have been seeing over the past couple of decades as well. Well, because this is the 2015 number, the Hispanics were relatively the same as U.S. births by race, and they were relatively the same, around 52 to 53%, 23%. The black population was around 15% as well. Okay. Hispanics were on, and the percent is actually higher. That's the actual one, because the Hispanic one's the same. The white one is relatively the same. Asians is more. Blacks have actually got birth rates have actually gone up in 2022. Blacks have. So that means if the births continue like this, whites will be 52% of the population, Hispanics around 23%, and blacks around 15% of the population, and Asian Pacific Islanders will be in around 6.8% as well. Well, so we're seeing this happen. We're seeing the fertility rates, and this is India. India's current fertility rate is 2.1. America's is 1.8. United Kingdom is 1.7. Hispanic Americans have now fallen below the national average. Are now falling in line with the national average of birth rates in America, which means the future of America is changing. The future of America is changing because who has the most babies matters everything. Whoever has the most babies matters. And we're seeing this here. American Indians and Hispanics have the most severe decline in birth rates. Whites have a negative birth rate of 9. Not Hispanic of whites of any race have a smaller decline, and Asians have the smallest decline. So Hispanics are having the fastest decline of birth rates in America. It used to be 2.4. Now it is below replacement. Blacks also fell as well. But yeah, basically, if immigration stops, the demographics for America will likely look like this. Or likely see a shrinking of some of these other demographics as well. Well, as of course, the Mormons, the Mennonites, the religious conservatives take over, and of course, the Amish take over. Which, if you look at the demographics of the Mormons are 88% white. Amish are basically 100% white. Conservative Catholics, it's around this percentage, mostly, Catholics is mostly a lot of Hispanics and whites, and Baptists is mostly whites and blacks as well. But three of the highest, and of course ultra-Orthodox Jews also have some of the highest birth rates in America. So those are the highest groups with the highest birth rates. Of course, the lowest birth rates are American Indians and atheists. Of course, atheists are not having any kids whatsoever. Atheists are not having any kids whatsoever. They're not having kids whatsoever, and they're going to have the decline in population. The demographic decline of atheists is inevitable, because atheists will have a decline in population. But North Dakota also had an increase in births as well. But Mexico's birth rate also mirrors Latin America. So we also have number for Colombia being 1.7, which is far below replacement rate. Okay, Colombia's birth rate went below replacement rate around 2009. Brazil's birth rate has fallen below replacement as well. Costa Rica as well has fallen. This is Brazil's fertility rate is expected to have declined drastically. El Salvador is expected to have a population crash. Guatemala, Honduras, Central America is expected to have a population crash as well. Haiti's birth rate isn't really too high considering how poor Haiti is. Haiti's birth rate is only around 2.8 as well. So Latin America's birth rate is declining. Guatemala, I think, and Haiti, I think, have the highest birth rate. And then it's Honduras, Ecuador, and Bolivia. And El Salvador's birth rate is like 2 or something like that. So El Salvador's current birth rate, 2019's birth rate was 2.202. Nicaragua's is 2.38. So El Salvador's birth rate is declining as well. The fertility rate of El Salvador, which we gotta go here, and the population of El Salvador. This is the fertility rate of El Salvador. It is actually below replacement rate, currently below 2 here. And this is El Salvador's population UN projections. El Salvador's population is supposed to decline. It's not decline by the 2040s. These. If we go to Brazil, this is the most populated country in Latin America. Brazil is the most populated country in all of Latin America. Here, this is Brazil's population. By the 2040s, Brazil's population is supposed to start declining. As well. Brazil's population is supposed to start declining. They also have Mexico in here as well. Here, Mexico's population again by 2050. By around 2050, Mexico's population is supposed to start declining. And Mexico's population is supposed to start falling. Okay. It is supposed to start falling here as well. Okay. And we see the same thing with Colombia. Here. Colombia's population here by 2050s as well. So, yeah. Most of the Latin American populations, as you all know, are supposed to start declining by 2050s and 2060s. These. Unless Latin America has a baby boom. Here. And white birth rates have basically stayed the same. Hispanic birth rates have dropped, Black birth rates have dropped, and Asian Pacific Islander birth rates have dropped. However, they don't have 2020 numbers, but 2020 is around 1.8, which is, and non-Hispanic is around 1.7. So that means, and Black is around 1.7 as well, 1.7 to 1.8 as well. So, yeah, we see and then we have something here. Yeah, we have this map here, which is on par with the 2015 map of number of American births. Because a lot of people were like, oh my god, white birth rate fell below 50%, but now it is above 50% again. It was at like 49.1%. Now it's above 50% because the Hispanic birth rate crash. So Latin America's and Hispanic birth rate crash has happened, and it's something that I think nobody was expecting. Nobody was expecting this is the birth rate in New Zealand. No one cares about New Zealand. No one cares about that. No one cares about New Zealand. But birth rates, I think, is going to decide who will be the biggest group of people in America. Okay. Mormons have a birth rate of around 3. Okay, which is way higher than the national average. Amish is around like 8. Mennonites are like 7 to 8. Whereas Mennonites and Amish were very similar. Okay, their birth rates are extremely high. Conservative Christians are at the higher end of the white birth rate. And Hispanics is mostly the religious people that are having birth rates. Well, most Hispanics are very religious and they're having less kids as well. So that means whites as a share of the birth population have actually gone up since the 2020, 2019, and 2018 as well. They also don't have the percentage of mixed race people. They don't have mixed race ethnicities either, which are listed here. But Latin America's birth collapse is happening. It's starting to happen already. Latin America's birth rate is expected to fall by 2050 to 2060s. So that means there was a very huge possibility that Latin America might try to coerce Americans, mostly of Spanish descent, Latin American descent, to come back to the country. Because Latin America's birth rate has been collapsing. And they want more people to be in the country. Kind of like how we have been trying to get, people from Latin America to come here because people are not giving birth to other people. And there's going to be kind of a reverse migration of sorts happen in the 2050s, 2040s, and 2060s, and might peak around the 2070s as well. Well, and most of these people will be similar cultures to the people who have left and they'll be coming back. That's how it basically is been. But then let's get back to the map we saw earlier. This is the up to 2012. And we're looking for that map again. Yeah, this is the fertility rates by ethnic group. So, according to the historic CDC statistical statistics, because of the Mormons, Amish, and Mennonites, non-Hispanic whites are expected to be the majority of births in the future, starting 2040. Okay, Hispanics have already fallen below replacement rate. Blacks will have fallen below replacement rate, and non-Hispanic Asians will have fallen below replacement rate. So, and you see a massive decline in the Hispanic birth rate. You see a massive decline in the Hispanic birth rate. You see a massive decline in the birth rate of the Latinos, Latinas, no, the Hispanic birth rate as well. Well, the lowest birth rate is Native Americans. You see this one here. Lowest birth rate in America is Native Americans here, and the highest birth rate here. So this is just basically, yeah, I'm just going through simple demographics here. This is simple, the demographic future of America. So that means if, of course, because the Republicans are likely to win. Okay, Republicans are likely going to win in 2024 because there's expected to be an economic crash after the holiday was, and it's all everybody's predicting that's going to happen. Okay, Trump's probably going to win again. He's gonna pass his agenda. Okay, which means the conservatives have won. The conservatives have won. We're entering a new era of America. We're entering a new era of America that is because America goes for eras and stages. America goes for eras and stages, and already, according to this projection, mostly because of Mormons, mostly because of Amish and Mennonites and conservative Catholics, and conservative and Baptists, whites are expected to be a majority of the births in America. They're expected to be a majority of the births, and I think it might be I think all the way up until like 2070 here. So, and yeah, what's already is starting to happen. This is the 2022 map, 2022 live births in 2022, and we have comparison between the 2015 one here, and then it fell below to percent as well to below to 49 point something, and then it went back up to 53.7% here. Black is around 14. So actually, the black population as a part of the birth rate has actually gone up. Hispanic has gone up by 0.5 literally from 2015. But because of the birth rate decline, it has actually gone down as a percentage of the live births in America. So as the percentage of the live births in America, they have gone down as the percentage of the live births as well, because of course one of the biggest fertility declines, one of the most of the minority populations are having a decline in birth rates. The lowest decline in birth rates, as we're seeing now, this is of 2018, from 2008 to 2016. The groups of the lowest declines are non-Hispanic of any race, white, and Asian Pacific Islanders. So ours is declined though the Native American and Alaskan Native, Black or African American, Hispanic of any race. So what happening? What was it? There's a birth rate decline was seen in Hispanic Americans mirrors what's happening in Latin America almost perfectly. It mirrors what's almost happening perfectly with Latin American people from Latin America as well. And now we're seeing the minority birth rate fall according to that data graph we just saw in America as well. So what will really happen to the future of American demographics? It always has been changing. But this is the total fertility rate of all groups of America according to this one. This is, of course, the pandemic numbers here. I think everything fell. So Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islanders have the highest of 2.1. Hispanic is 1.8. Black is 1.7. White non-Hispanic is 1.5. American Indian Alaskan Native is 1.5. And Asian is 1.3. But again, this was taken during the pandemic. the pandemic era. And I think a lot of some of the other ones have gone up because of it. And then we have the Y births numbers, which is from the U.S. government. This is the 2022 Y births here of America. This is the 2022 Y births in America. I think this is the 2022 one that here. Yeah, October 2022 of all Y births in 2018 to 2020. This is the Y births. Oh, it says 2018 to 2020 average. Yeah, this is the 2020. So that means it hasn't really changed since 2015. And now the decline of births of Hispanics. Next, yeah, we're seeing a decline of births of Hispanics around the world. We're seeing a decline in Latin America and a decline in Hispanics in America. So, yeah, this is the percentage of Y births here. Yeah, that means here. So, yeah, this is basically a video about the, this is the birth rates, by the way. Do they have? I don't think they put out numbers until the end of the year about 2022. But yeah, right? Annual change. Birth rates rose 2%. Yeah, that means that those numbers are actually quite. Birth rates rose 2% for non-Hispanic rates. Birth rates have risen. The annual change of Hispanic births went up 18,000. Black births went down 12,000. Asians went down 5,512, and these people went down. I don't know who these people are, but they went down 109 national births. But yeah, births are down most for Hispanics and Native Americans, as you already know, and which means how long will it take until this annual change starts to go down? And this is the difference between actual births and births in 2008 and fertility rates have persisted. Hispanics had 2.7 million less births. White non-Hispanics had 1.9 million less births. Black non-Hispanic had 8 million. Asians have 200,000 and 81,000 for American Indian as well. And this is the real sale. And this is if the 2001 space, if the total fertility rates were stable. Yeah, this is, but yeah, for the first time in American history, because they reported on the decline on numbers of white people throughout the whole country, and now white people are having more babies, according to at least the 2021 statistics. So yeah. Well, we'll talk about China later. We'll talk about China next. About the future of China. What will be the future of China? That will be the question. What will be the future of China here? And yeah, births have actually declined in every race. Births have declined in every race from 2019 to 2020. Mostly because of COVID. Okay, this is COVID. But even after 2020, the only two races that have seen an increase in births in 2021 are whites and Hispanics. Those are the only two races that have seen an increase in births. And the number of whites are larger than the number of Hispanic increase. But South Korea is having a population decline. That means if there was an immigration moratorium and stuff, America is going to see a population decline for a while. But once, of course, the Mormons, the Mennonites, the religious, and the Amish take over, which they are going to take over, and we're always starting to see this trend here, the Amish and the Mormons are, because the atheists are not going to have kids, the feminists and the leftists are not going to have kids. They're going to go extinct because of birth rates. They're going to go extinct because of birth rates as well. And the states that are losing the most babies is California and Illinois, Texas, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania had increases in births. Ohio, Georgia, North Carolina, and Michigan had increases in births. So even people don't want to have kids in California and Illinois. That's how bad it is to live in Illinois. People don't want to have kids in Illinois because Illinois is such a horrible place that nobody wants to have kids in Illinois. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, what will be the future of America? That will be the question. But we're always seeing the births by, they don't have 2022 births yet. I bet it'll probably decline for every race because of the economic decline. It'll probably decline again in 2023 and 2024 for which will only prolong the inevitable. The inevitable takeover, of course, the groups that I said will take over America, the extremely religious groups. Because that's going to be what the inevitable future of America is. The conservative groups who have more kids are going to take over America. And America is going to be one of the most conservative countries in the world because of that takeover, because of them having more kids as well. So, yeah.